Bottom.
I found it.
Good, it's recording.
Good. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Let me do the welcome everybody to this session of Sharing in Song. We're very glad to welcome Evey Simon, who is the current director, the music director at the Cathedral of the Holy Trinity, the Archdiocesan Cathedral in New York City. And she also commutes and lives in Detroit, where she used to be a choir director at various churches in Detroit. So Evey, we'd like to hear what you have to share tonight.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Barb, and thank you, Kyriakos, for putting all this together and helping us through. Once I had agreed to do this, I thought, what? And then I went back and I thought, what was I thinking? But nevertheless, we're going to give it a go. As Vicki said, I have been the choir director at the Annunciation Cathedral of Detroit and St. Nicholas in Troy, Michigan for many, many years. I technically retired in 2014. At that time, there was an opening at the cathedral in New York for a choir director. Their longtime illustrious choir director, Dr. Dino Anagnost, had just passed away, and they were looking for a replacement. So I threw my hat in the ring, and lo and behold, 5 years ago, my husband and I took a great adventure. Our kids are grown, our parents are of blessed memory, and we moved to New York part-time. We still have our home here in Michigan, thank goodness. And so that's our life. It's a little bit crazy, but it works for us. Once COVID hit, I came home to Michigan and have gone back to New York to visit, but we have no choir, as most of the country does not have choirs as of yet. So I still consider myself MEVCOX along with DAD. And I'd like to welcome you all here to this very first session. And I want to welcome especially some of the members I've noticed from the Holy Trinity Cathedral Choir that have signed on. Welcome and thank you for your support. And other members of the DAD that I recognize that I saw your name pop up. So the piece that I chose to do today, when you hear it, some of you with small choirs, just like hang on, because we have at the cathedral a very large professional choir. Now that can be controversial, but we're not going to go there. It's about 16 professional people and 16 volunteers. We take our choir at the cathedral very seriously. The philosophy is that the cathedral, every time there is a choir, it should never be hit or miss. I mean, for 30 years, I did volunteer choir. You never know when your lead soprano gets sick, or when your only tenor, their child is sick, or some legitimate reason why everybody can't be there. At the cathedral, we have a consistently excellent choir every Sunday that we sing. So that's the philosophy there. Dino Anagnost was the choir director prior to myself for about 40 years. He started the choir and he was very, very close with Archbishop Iakovos, who mandated that the cathedral in New York will always have a professional choir and will always have a top level choir. So some of our members, yes, they are paid, but a lot is expected of them. So the music that we sing is the music that Dino Anagnost arranged. Most of it is really not, it doesn't seem complicated because it's very monophonic. In other words, there's not a lot of text over text. All the words are sung at the same time. And, but it lends itself to a nice, beautiful, lush sound. Dino was a very, he was a prolific conductor, he was a prolific composer, and very, very well respected, especially on the East Coast. He was Doctor of Music, Anagnost, and he taught at Columbia University, along with having, he was the director of Little Orchestra Society. And one of the things that the cathedral enjoyed were all his contacts. When he would put on a concert, he would get staff and students from Columbia University's choirs. He would get staff from the Little Orchestra Society to come and play. He would get lighting from Little Orchestra Society. So his concerts and things were quite amazing. So when I got hired in there, they were looking for someone who knew the Greek liturgy, who was able to read and write Greek and be able to pronounce it correctly, but they also wanted someone with a music background. So hopefully they're satisfied with what I've been doing. Now, I don't have the contacts that Dr. Anagnost had. However, I have the advantage of his legacy that I can build upon. The piece of music that I would like to show you today is a piece that he arranged. It is a piece of music that we sing quite often. We sing it sometimes during recessional, sometimes during communion. Anytime we need a little extra something to offer to the congregation, that's our go-to piece. The congregation loves it. The choir loves it. It is a beautiful piece of music. When you hear it, please be aware that this is a large choir. The reason I'm showing you this piece is because it can be done with a very small choir and it could be just as effective. It will not, don't get panicked and thinking, oh my gosh, we can never do this. We don't have a soprano like that. You do. Somebody in there, you have a soprano or a tenor that can sing this piece. And I also have, I'm going to show you a way to adapt the solo just a little bit so it's still spectacular, but it doesn't have to have quite the flair that what you're going to hear. So what I'd like to start with is to ask Kyriakos and Vicky. They're going to put up side by side, I hope. They're going to put up the music so you can hear it and see the music. Is that something we can go ahead with? Thank you.
Can you see it? Is it okay the way it is?
Yes.
Or would you like me to zoom in a little closer?
Can you move it over to the screen's left a little bit?
Let's see.
If you zoom it, yeah, you got it all. Whoops.
I did. I got it.
Okay.
Are we satisfied?
I am satisfied.
Now I have to.
Okay.
Go ahead, Vicky.
I have to. I can't because I can't minimize, so I can't get to my desktop.
You should be able to click on the bottom of your screen. Do you want me to stop screen?
Up. That's what.
I'll wait till you get yours up and then I'll start
okay.
screen sharing.
Yeah, good. Hang on.
It's fine.
No, I'm recording. That's why I can't minimize.
I see.
There. Wait a minute. I got it.
Okay.
Here we go.
As well, praying in the altar.
Okay. What you'll hear is Father John Vlachos announcing that the choir is going to be presenting something. This was last year during Church Musician Sunday. Oh, it's not.
All right, let's pause. Vicky, can you reset that and turn your volume up quite a bit? Because it was coming in clear. Maybe because we have our microphones on. Can you reset the music and then I'll mute everybody this time?
We start from the beginning?
Correct. And I'll mute everybody this time because it came
Okay.
out clear. Oh, sorry, I muted you, Vicky. I didn't mean to. But yeah, if you can get that ready and then I won't mute you. I'll mute the rest of us. And just make sure your volume's up all the way. For some reason, it came out much clearer earlier. Vicky, I apologize. You're on mute if you're trying to say something. There's always some technical difficulties with every presentation. So thank you everybody for being patient with this. Are you good, Vicky, or do you need? You're on mute, Vicky. I apologize. Can you unmute? Vicky, you're still on mute. Bottom left corner, maybe?
Okay. I think I have the wrong one on, Evey, though.
You want to be at 1 hour, 55 minutes. I'll send you the link in here if that's easier. Try playing that link and let's see what comes up.
What, you sent it to me in email?
In the chat right here. It should
Gotta
be
go
the
there.
first link in your chat right here on the
Okay.
bottom.
Ah,
Okay. If you'd like, I can try to play it.
yeah,
instead.
I'll get it. I'm there. It just take.
That's fine.
Do you want me to do it? I've got it right here.
Yeah, Evey, maybe you should.
All right. Everybody else can just be muted.
Yeah, because I'm on the wrong one.
Yeah,
Don't
you
worry
are.
about it.
All right, let's hope this works after all that. Can you hear okay? Okay. Now, how do I get out of this?
I'll stop sharing for a moment. Oh,
Can you leave the, okay.
I'll put it back up when you're ready, Evey, but just so you can close that out, let me know when you're ready. And I'll just let you know on my end, it did cut out quite a bit. It was like fading in and out. I think that was how everybody might have heard it. So
Okay.
we heard bits of it, but it did fade in and out. So just keep that in
mine was
mind when you're.
okay.
Could you increase the volume a little bit on the music? When you play the music, can you increase the volume a bit?
I don't know if I can increase it.
Well, let's just move ahead, Evey, if it's okay, and just you can talk about it. And then if you feel like you want to have time and play a little bit more, we can.
I was going to play it again at the end, but we'll see.
Do you want me to share music now or just let you talk for a bit?
Please let me talk for just a minute, okay? All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so hopefully you notice that the text is all Kyrie Eleison. That's all there is in the words. And then you've got a flourish of a soprano solo over everybody else singing. The entire piece of music is only 8 measures long. So it's really not that hard to teach because the choir is singing the same 8 measures 4 times. So once you learn that, once you learn the first 8 measures, you're repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. So it becomes what you do with dynamics and the phrasing and the expressiveness of this piece of music is what makes it. And then, of course, having a lovely soprano or tenor, if you're lucky enough to have a tenor that can do that. So would you please put that back up, Kyriako? Thank you. Now, what I'm going to do is play the first two up. No, I skipped a lot. The first thing I would do is number the measures. That is the very first thing that I would do in a piece of music that I would hand out to the choir. So the way to do that, all right, can you see me or are you seeing the music?
Music.
I paused the share, so it should be showing you.
If,
Oh,
if,
I'm seeing both.
if everybody notices on the pictures that you're seeing, not what I thought.
All right. I just numbered the first 8 measures. All right, you start and you number the measures. You would go all the way, there you go, thank you. You
Wait,
would
what
go
happened?
all the way through. So you have a way of identifying things. So that's the first step that I would do. And then I would work on only the first 8 measures with the choir. So I'm going to play these 8 measures on a piano, and if Kyriakos can put it up, and then you can try to follow the notes as they go by. Okay? Here we go. All right. So, can you hear the piano?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the structure of the piece right there. There are a few small variations in the next verse and in the second and third verse, but it's basically exactly the same. The text doesn't change. The length of the phrase doesn't change. So what I'd like to do is have everybody on a mute, okay? And I'm going to play that again. Find your part. I will play the notes one at a time. And if you can sing your part on just a neutral syllable, on Lou or whatever you're comfortable with. See if you can hear your part. All right, here we go. Just through measures 1 through 8. Here we go again. Oh. All right. I'm not sure why we're hearing the chant. It's lovely, but oh, I see what happened. We went to a different service on YouTube. All right.
Evey, if you don't mind, I'm going to mute everybody because we have a few others in the background that I was getting sound from. And then
Yeah.
Can you just turn your volume right back on, please?
I thought my volume was on.
Yours is, but I'm about to mute everybody.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So if you didn't hear me, I'm going to play those 8 measures again. This time, find your part and see if you can sing along with us on a neutral syllable. Here we go. Bass, tenor, alto, soprano. Ready? And. Bass, did you notice you have 1 note? Tenor, you notice you have 1 note. Soprano and alto, you're in a stepping pattern. Let's do it again. Here we go. You got it. Ready? And. Now there's a ready and. Measure 5. Here's your notes, same ones, and. lucky like I am to have a Russian bass who can hit that note, great. If not, the rest of the mortals are really well with this note. Now, tenors, go to measure 5. Look at measure 5. If you're a director or you're a tenor, look at measure 5. Sing that with me. Ready? Listen to it. Oh, I beg your pardon. Ready, tenors? Ready and go. See, so that's really the only tricky part of the whole thing. We're going to go back and sing those 8 measures, put the words in. The commas mean breath marks. So hold the breath. Kyrie Eleison, Kyrie Eleison. So you're going to breathe every 2 measures there. Here we go. One more time. Measures 1 through 8 with the words. Ready and go. Altos, did you see your 8th notes there in measure 6? Were you able to do them? I hope so. Now, okay, so then we would go on to section 2, section 3, and then you repeat back to section 1. Da capo means to go back to the beginning, al fine. So you're singing section 1, section 2, section 3, and back to 1. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about the solo. We are lucky enough at the cathedral to have a couple of very, very spectacular sopranos who can just flourish those high A's like they were nothing. Most people can't do that. I can't do that. I am not going to attempt to sing that soprano line for you. I'm going to stick to my piano. However, if you have a soprano or a group of sopranos, doesn't have to be one, or a group of very talented children, or if you have enough sopranos that you can divide the sopranos and have half of them on the solo line, half of them on the melody line, there's ways you can tweak this. Then the other thing I urge you to do is measure. I'm going to start at rehearsal 2, what would be measure 10. Okay, so the choir has started on the second Kyrie Eleison. Here's the solo. Listen, please. So far, so good. Whoops, sorry. Now, part 3 is where it gets a little dicey because it goes very high and a lot of people are scared of those notes. Kyriako, any chance we could get just that second page?
Yes, just 1 second.
Thank you.
Do you want it farther over as well?
Yeah, so we could see the end of the phrase if possible.
Oh, you just want starting at number 3? There
Yes.
you go, like that.
Yeah. Now,
Perfect.
it goes up quite high. And you'll notice they're 1 measure phrases. So now the phrasing in the choir will change a little bit too, because you're going to follow the soloist. However, right now we're not going to talk about that. Let's say you have some nice, beautiful sounding sopranos, but you're not sure about that high note. Instead of singing, you could easily do, you can change the note or change the note to another note in the chord like this. So if you take a note out of the lower chord and have the soprano go to that note, it'll still sound like a spectacular solo. So those A's can be a little tricky and a little daunting for people, but don't let them scare you. So remember, it doesn't have to be a solo soprano. It can be a group of singers. It can be a group of children. Occasionally, you might have a group of children that are extraordinarily talented and devoted. This is the time to pull this out and let that it'll have a whole different effect than when you have a big operatic soprano singing that line. Okay, So the last thing I want to say about this is at 3, when the soloist or when the solo line comes in and has different phrasing, you have to wait for the soloist. So when I'm going to play the choir version again, and I want you to listen to when you get to part 3. So if the soloist slows down, in other words, has some rubato, pulls the rhythm just a little bit, so it's not exact, but so she'll go. Okay, then the choir has to wait so that everybody comes in on the same words at the same time. All right, just a little terms of keeping it neat. All right, let's see, what else was I going to say about that? Okay, now the next thing I would do in teaching this piece, I can't control it, is I would show that at measure 6 and 7 is a little bit different from the endings of the other phrases. And I would isolate, yeah, right here. I would isolate this section right here, and then isolate this section right here where my cursor is, and then isolate this section right here. Actually, this one and this one are.
We can't see your cursor, Evey, just so you know.
Oh.
You can see mine, but you can't see yours, just so you know.
Can you show them measure, I'm pointing as if you could see my finger.
That's
measure
okay.
6 and 7.
Right here.
All right. And then go over to the top of the page, the top of the next page. Yes, right at the measures 2 and 3 on that line. There you go. That would be different. And then the bottom of the page. Yes, the second and third measure again. Yes. So those are just a little bit different. And that's what gives this music some of its color and some of the warmth. And I would take those 3 spots and isolate them so the choir knows exactly where those small changes and small differences are. Okay. So we doing on time. Oh. Okay.
Evey, just don't forget we started about 5 to 6 minutes late because we did have a prayer and things. So you can have a few more minutes if you feel you need to wrap up. Thank you.
All right. So I would like to play this whole thing again, and no, I take that back. I'm going to play the whole thing for you and you sing, and then I'm going to play the choir singing it, and then you sing along with the choir with words. So we're going to start at measure 1, and we're going to sing it 4 times, just the way it's written. Find your part and sing it on. Go ahead with the Kyrie Eleison. You know that. You know those words. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you your pitches. Ready? And. Breathe. let's try it with the Cathedral Choir singing. Pick a part. Hopefully it's your part. If you want to try the solo, go for it. Our soloist is Eleison Spina. By the way, I don't think I mentioned her name. So let's see if I can find it now.
I'll stop sharing for just a moment. Let me know when you hit play and I'll flip.
Okay. It.
Welcome Deacon Spiridon, who is with us as well, praying in the altar.
Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this piece. It is not beyond any choir's abilities. It is something that everybody can handle. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed presenting it to you. Thank you so much.
Vicky, I'm asking you to unmute
I
on the
know,
bottom.
I did it, and then we did it at the same time, Kyriakos.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much, and it was fun singing together with your big choir in New York, given these circumstances, but it was a very fine presentation. Now we're at the part where it's time for questions and answers, and I think we might have a little bit of a glitch here, because Barbara was going to review these and monitor them, but it looks like Barbara did just come to me. I thought the co-hosts would get it too. So I've been looking at some of the questions, Evey, and here's one. And while the questions are answering, for the people that came on later, would you please go into chat and put in your name, your church and city, state, and your email address for us, please, while we're answering the questions. So one question, Evey, was, how would you sing these? Would you sing them continuously during the petitions? Or could you sing them if your priest prefers that you stop in between each petition? Which what would you suggest?
Sorry, these are not done liturgically during, this is not done during a liturgy. We only do these as a, I hate to call it a concert piece, but so it's only done continuously. We never do these in the liturgy.
Okay, so when do you do it? Like at a concert or recessional?
We have done them as a recessional. We have done it as an encore for a concert. We've done it during communion after Tudipnusu or some version of Tudipnusu. We've done it at the end, yeah, as a recessional, for instance, as the way we did it here during Church Musicians Sunday.
Okay. If you didn't use the descant, do you think you could do it with the petitions if it went with the other music?
I think it came originally, isn't it a Desby sequence?
Well, I was just going to ask you that. Maria Karianopoulos, I think, no, Maria Karianopoulos from Dallas, Texas, said that her choir in Dallas sings this 1 and 2 parts only, and she said it is from Desby, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
It was actually first copyrighted by Theodoridis in the early 50s before Frank's version. And I have copyrighted, matter of fact, he was from Buffalo, as you well know, Vicki.
I know, that's Paul Mavnomihalis from
Yeah, here. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Evie, nice to see you. Also, we've always done them in the Baltimore, Washington area during memorial services. So during the Trisayon, and that's when we've always traditionally done them. And actually also Anna, in her salutations manuscripts, has them down also to be done during the salutation services. The version that Theodoridis has is very similar quarterly in the quarter structures. Dino's desk counts are a little bit different. And then actually some of the moving lines in the SATB are a little bit different, but they're essentially the same.
Yes, it definitely, he's arranged this. It's not an original composition by any means. This is one of his arrangements. Yeah.
Vicki and Evey, this is Hope. We've done them years ago. We haven't done them for a while, but we did them in the middle section of the liturgy, and the priest kept doing the petitions and we just went right along with him. And every once in a while we would have a soprano that could hit. I don't think it was this high. I think the soprano solo was just a little bit lower for some reason. I'm not sure. And we did it in the middle section where it's just the Kyrie Eleisons and no Paraso Kyries. So it was done during the liturgy for us some years back. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we've got some other, Kirsten said.
Yeah, this is Kirsten Shaw, also from Texas, but hi, Evey, how are you? We do them, but the Desby version, and I believe the top note is a G in the Desby, but we do them during Holy Friday, but before the actual lamentations start and one of the full set of petitions there. It's very effective, I will say, for that service. And our priest just continues with the petitions because he knows we're just going to continue. And we do it, I want to say we do one whole set before we add the descant possibly, and then we add the solo with it. But it's in that service it works really well, as you know, also. But
I was thinking too, Evey, someone mentioned the funeral service. I guess as the people are going up to the casket for the final goodbye, that would be very appropriate, right?
Yes. Yes,
We
we
do
do
them-
it. We've done it at weddings when people want the choir to sing and they want 30 minutes worth of music. That is one of the hymns we've done. I forgot about that. Yep.
We do them in the liturgy, and we also do them after the Enite, while the priest gets ready for communion. And we also do it as a recessional. And we do only the first and the second parts. We don't do the three. But to tell you the truth, I thought that maybe our priest would say, no more sopranos, no more solo, because we did have a priest, or actually a bishop, many years ago, that stopped the choir of doing very operatic things. So, but thank you. This is wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
One other thing real quick, if I'm not mistaken, this is based on the Russian tradition. And I want to say it's attributed to Bortnatsky, but I need to go up to my resources and take a look to the two sources that I'd mentioned. But this goes back about 100 years, I think, the melody and the key
Probably.
Eleisons themselves. Yeah.
Dino had he loved the Russian. He did a lot of
Yes.
arrangements with of the Russian. We do a lot of Russian stuff that he has translated to English or Greek. I see Colleen Pappas, who is in our choir and has been singing there many, many more years before I came. Colleen, do you remember ever doing this in a service? Can you unmute yourself?
I brought her in.
Okay, do you ever remember singing this during a liturgy, or was it always done the way we continue to do it as a recessional after the service?
Yeah, not during liturgy, no.
That has never been done in your,
I don't think so.
and you've been singing with them for, well, we won't say how long, but longer than I've been there. Yeah, okay, thank you, Colleen. Nice to see
Evey, another idea for it is from, actually, I think Kyriakos,
Yep.
that do it during the Hieretis Me service at the petitions that come just before Tinoreotita.
We've
Right,
been doing it for
Kyriakos?
years back home at St. John the Forerunner in Youngstown. I think we do I think a handwritten version from the Desby, actually. It's brought down to A minor, so that brings the soprano solo down a little bit. And I think that was at the priest's direction many priests ago. He said, you know, the only reason he felt it was appropriate was because it was brought down so that the soprano line was not so strong. You were not in this high register. And it actually sounds lovely. And I don't think that one's copywritten because it was a handwritten, you know, arrangement done just the parish. So.
Hi, this is Catherine. I have a question for Father Costin. Can you hear me, Father?
Yes, I can.
My question is, what would be the philosophy behind a bishop not wanting or wanting operatic or not wanting operatic sounds from the choir?
Yeah, I can't speak for them, but the idea would be that as beautiful as it is, you know, the operatic style invites more to a show and less to a kind of a focused prayer. I mean, even in an opera, if you have a very reflective aria, it wouldn't be, kind of just blurted out at the maximum strength. So probably that's what it is. But, you know, as a concert piece or as a special piece, you know, at a special time, I think that works very well. And we have done it also with our choir. I don't remember exactly when, but I know we've done it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm trying to.
Kathy?
Ma'am.
Kathy Athanasoulis, you have to unmute yourself. Here, unmute yourself, Kathy.
Work.
Kathy, ask your question again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
It's not a question. I just wanted to add the other thing that we use the Desby version. In the past, I was lucky enough to have a tenor who was able to do that. And I have to say, I liked it better with the tenor because it didn't sound so operatic, but he had a very sweet tenor voice. It depends on the singer too.
Yes.
I would say we sometimes, our soloists, when we use it, this is Kirsten Shaw again.
For an ordination service. I'm sorry, that's it. Thank you.
We used well, one year we had actually a high school student who had just a very sweet soprano voice and just floated the sound across the top. And then before that, we have always used just a very sweet, pure soprano voice that was not operatic, but could just float the notes and just to make it kind of ethereal, I guess you can say.
That's what I was going to say too. I have just before the COVID came on, I had a number of talented children who sang it very well, and that's different from a mature soprano also. Very sweet. Thank you.
I must say, Mrs. Catherine Athanasoulas and Maria Karayanopoulos, that you have a fabulous choir, and my granddaughter is in your choir. You have done an amazing job, and you call them Byzantines. Bravo.
Thank you, Maria. It's nice to hear from you. And one of the granddaughter.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I sent it through the chat. Maybe it didn't get through, but two questions. Number one was, Evey, the professionals that sing in your choir, are they Orthodox? Number one. And the number two, more importantly, is how can we get a copy of this music?
I will start with number two,
Okay.
because the music is not published.
Oh, okay.
It's not copywritten.
So we can have it.
Not technically, although it seems like many people across the country already have it.
Yeah.
So this particular hymn has been around for a long time. I don't see anything wrong with if we send it out. I would love for people to have a little bit of Dino's music. He's written a whole liturgy and much, much more. And we're still trying to figure out the legality of if we can publish it and share it with other parishes. I don't know. And our members, some are, and some of the pros are Orthodox, and some are not. Some have been there we have a couple of members that have been there for 30 years. They sang with Dino way back many, many years ago. And they're still there. They're very dedicated. They're very spiritual. They have not converted, but some of them are thinking about it, and many have converted. So we've had quite a few of our choir members that started off as pros and ended up converting. So,
thank you.
Evey, another question about the music. The other music, is it typeset, or are you typesetting it, or is it all handwritten?
No, we have typeset it all, and we use it on our own. If you remember the music when you came and sang with us for Archbishop Elbithorforo's first liturgy, that was that, and we've had it typeset. We had one of our choir members who has been doing it. It's a labor of love, because well, as anyone who's been in, I have never published or printed any kind of music before. So many details. So just when we think we have it done, we find mistakes. So we are in the process of typesetting it.
Good. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap things up, because we didn't want to, we said these were going to be short and sweet. As long as you had questions, we would stay on with you, and we're willing to stay on longer if anybody would like to stay. But before you leave, would you do two things? For the people that came in later, please make sure that your name, your church name, city and state, and your email are in the chat. So type it into chat and then hit enter, and it will preserve it for us. Secondly, before you go, we're going to send a poll to you just to get a quick, some quick feedback from you as to how well you felt the workshop went for you. And I invite you all back, and your friends, to come back next week, Monday at the same time at 7 o'clock. And the hymn that we're going to work on then is going to be with Maritza Medias Calais, who's going to share a Lenten hymn that was done by George Raptis, so you can get to see that. So for those of you who are ready to leave, would you make sure that all of you, it's just two quick answers. If you would just answer the two questions: how much did you learn tonight, and how useful do you think the information and the music that Evey shared was for you? And then at the bottom, I think there's an enter. Okay. So thank you very much again, and Kalinichta.
Kalinichta, thank you, Vicky. Thank you. Wonderful. Come all and see us in Texas, in Dallas.
We will, as soon as we can.
Good.
Nice to see you, Kathy.
Hi, Georgia. Nice to see you.
Sophia,
I
Niakos.
hope it's nice to see you as well. I miss you all.
Evey, thank you so much. It's been
Nice seeing you.
Nice to see everybody.
Georgia, Kathy.
Thank you, Evey.
Thank you,
you.
Evey. Thank you, Evey.
Yeah,
I can't put my email address in the chat.
Why not?
Oh, yes.
Kyriakos, can you put it up again? Because some people would like to take
Put
us.
what up again? Oh, the music?
Yeah,
Sure, just a moment.
and then you can
Side
take-
by side like this. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You want the whole page?
No,
I
the
can-
whole thing, the whole thing.
like
So
that.
they can take a screenshot.
That's the whole thing right there, both pages.
Maybe one page at a time.
You won't see one page at a time though because of the height of my screen, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
Okay.
Like if I zoom in, you'll just see, you know, one side like this. If they want to do each line or something, maybe.
No, I think it's better though with both.
That
Yeah.
I think that's the best.
We
And then,
can minimize.
Kyriako, can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Yeah.
Can you send me a copy?
I have it. Yeah, I can email this. If you email my email address, Alex, I'll remember yours. But anybody else, my email is on the flyer for these events. If you email me, I can respond with the sheet music for this hymn.
Thank you, Kyriako.
Thank you.
How many weeks is this going to go on?
There's 6 sessions.
Okay, thanks. I just want to put it in my calendar.
Right.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I know this kind of doesn't relate to the music, although the music was beautiful. I really loved it. Just a question. Is there anything being done MEVCOX wise in discussions with the bishops about how the choirs can come or when the choirs can come back at any point?
Alex,
what they're looking at?
Yeah, Alex, I can talk to that because I just gave a presentation on that very thing at the Clergy Lady Congress and then also at the National Forum's annual meeting. As far as the bishops are concerned, there's nothing definite from them yet. Some people, a few choirs are getting special permission to come back with a small group. A parish or two are letting perhaps the choir person sing instead of having a chanter, but that's very rare yet and few and far between. If you're interested, I have a slide presentation that we'll soon have up on the National Forum website that talks about the various risk factors and what you have to consider, like masking and
Right. They do make, because I know in schools, we have it in our schools. They do make masks for singers, special masks. Of course, they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're almost between
You'll
$25 and $30 a mask.
You'll almost definitely have to wear masks, and you definitely have to be a prepper.
But they have singing masks. But I know that. But I know it's going to be a while, and I know this could last a long time. I heard doctors say it could last for well beyond years, but a year or so. But hopefully not.
Yeah.
I was just at the doctor the other day. And he says it's definitely going to be around next year. But I guess at some point at what point are they going to say, okay, how can we bring the choirs back in, or what needs to be done? And
another consideration, Alex, is as far as the metropolitans, they have to defer to the local government.
Right.
So different for every state.
And every state is different. I know Ohio's, and I think, and our bishop is pretty strict about, which he should be. But I think that Ohio's, I know we had a mask ordinance and everything, but I think right now everybody's going back to code red around our counties.
Yeah.
And
in our cathedral here in Columbus, I was only allowed to go there one time to chant for the funeral of Mrs. Halachis. She was a soprano. So they won't allow me to be there because I'm too old.
Yeah.
Where do you get the singer masks? Was it online?
I can get it to a website here that I could give it to. I'll send it to Kyriakos and then he can forward it.
If you,
send it to Vicky or myself. Yeah.
I know our high school choirs got them at our school.
If you just Google singers masks, there's a whole bunch of them. The first one out was called the Resonance singer's mask, but people didn't like that because it sticks out like a
duck.
And other people have been sharing a couple of different companies are making them differently. The shields are not good. I will say that to you. They've been tested and too much of the aerosol comes out from underneath.
Yeah.
The same way with bandanas. But people are experimenting mostly, and in fact, sometimes if you just go to Target or one of the stores that are selling them, as long as they're fuller in the front, that's a little bit better. It is going to be a challenge though, but almost definitely for a long while when we go back to singing, we're going to have to wear masks, and it works. It's
Okay,
just people
thank
aren't
you.
used to it.
Thank you.
I see you have the same cookbook I have.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, hi, Vicki. Yes, it's Kathy Kalizis from Staten Island. Yes, I just would like to thank Evey for showcasing this beautiful piece. It brought back so many memories, being that I was under the direction of Dr. Dino Anagnost.
There you go.
And I always remember bringing chills to my spine. Really, really, very beautiful. Thank you for tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Me too.
Okay. Has everybody filled out the poll and put in their address information?
I think I got.
I didn't.
There's a poll that should come up.
If you didn't,
It's in the chat, I think.
look at the bottom of your screen if you're on your
It comes up
computer.
on your screen.
It should be next to chat.
Here,
at least
I'll
on my
relaunch
computer.
It says that it's closed.
Mine says participant share screen, chat, and more.
Yeah, I don't want to. Mine says relaunch, but I'm afraid if I relaunch,
Yeah, we don't
we're
want
gonna
to
lose what we have.
Yeah, it
We've
says
only got
polling.
41 votes.
If yours is still up, just vote, answer the questions and send it. Otherwise, we'll catch you next week on the next one.
If you, Vicki, if you hit, Chris, if you hit the chat button, it should pop up.
Oh.
The chat button?
Yeah, I just popped it up. I'm hitting the chat button.
Doesn't.
Okay.
I see chat, but I don't see the poll.
Yeah, I don't see the chat.
Oh, no, it's not the poll. I'm sorry. It's just, yeah, but Vicki, maybe you can put it up again?
No, I can't.
You have to go.
You
You have to go
We
to
can't.
the middle of your screen, right in the bottom, 6 o'clock on your screen.
But
If you take your cursor,
Yeah, is there something?
you're going to see it.
That's right. Do you see polls at the bottom of your screen at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, polling.
Put your
Click
cursor
on that.
on-
You should see it.
But it's closed.
Oh, then
It's
it's closed.
closed.
I don't know why it's closed, but
It was there must have been a time limit on it.
maybe, yeah.
Vicki, who will be the instructor next Monday? Did you
Maritza Calais from
On
Detroit.
my screen, she's right next to you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's there. Maritza.
Maritza, wave. Maritza, wave so people will see you. You find her?
Yeah, hello everybody. Hi,
Hello,
Evey.
Maritza.
Yes, I'm next week. Evey was our guinea pig today. Thank you, Evey, for doing it first.
Where are you director at? Indiana?
Saints Constantine and Helen and Westland, Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
Michigan, yes.
Near
So,
Detroit.
I went to
Detroit
Purdue.
area.
I went to Purdue University, so I know Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay, not too far away. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I hope to see as many people next week as we saw tonight. This was very nice. Very nice.
We'll be there.
Next Monday. I'll be there.
Good. Great to hear it.
Okay.
Alrighty. Hi, Anna.
Anytime you'd like to leave.
Hi, Maritza.
Just leave, and the rest of you can, if you want to chit chat, we'll stay on for you until as long as you want.
Vicki, to those of you that knew George Raptis of blessed memory, I just am asking, Despina is in hospice, his wife. So if you can just keep Despina Raptis in your prayers. Her children are all with her. She's comfortable. She's responsive. Her son was playing music for her. Her daughter was singing with her. So we've spoken to her and we've FaceTimed with her, but just please keep her in your prayers. Despina Raptis, God be with her.
Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Kiriako.